I'll start you off with my magic trick. I don't know how cool it is. But just think about, as you're watching this, the kind of world that our kids live in now, the ones that are going to show up in your classroom. So, when you were younger, maybe now even, cereal for breakfast, right? And what did you do with the box while you're eating? You read it, right? You put it there and you read it. You know, there like for the kids cereals, there are games to play. For adult cereals, it tells you how healthy the cereal is and all that, right? This is what our kids are experiencing now. So they can scan the cereal box with their phone, and they can actually play a game. Not only can they play a game, they can play a game with their friend, whatever. And I don't know how intricate these games are, but the cereal box has gone live, right? The cereal box has gone live. So now I can manipulate what's on the cereal box. I can take the game, while I'm eating my Lucky Charms, I can actually do something like this with kids. That's the world they live in, okay? What's the most popular game out there right now? Pokemon Go, right? And the point I would like to make several points today, but one of the points I want to make is that these kids have been doing it, whether we agree with it or not, whether we think it's a waste of time or whatever, they're still doing it, right? So in a matter of 3 or 4 weeks, they're going to show up in our classrooms and they're going to be doing what? Wishing they were playing Pokemon Go, right? They're used to this kind of stuff. They're used to showing up, at the breakfast table. They're used to going out with their friends and playing Pokemon Go. Are they going to show up in our classrooms and be subjected to worksheets and lectures and sitting in straight desks in rows? Okay. So be thinking about that as we talk about some different things today. So my name is Darren Anderson. I'm an instructional coach here at Rock Springs. I've been here for 4 years, and it's been an absolute pleasure to work here and do what I do. I've learned so much about what I'm going to present to you today. Through my job here. By trade, I was an English teacher before I came to Sweetwater 1. So English language arts is near and dear to my heart. But I look back and see that I did my kids a huge disservice with a lot of the things that I did in language arts with them in English class. And we're going to do a little activity about that in just a second. So what STEM for me did, STEAM, adding the arts to it, it really gave a whole new perspective to teaching language arts. So I'm going to spend this morning maybe 20-30 minutes kind of going over some things, and then we're going to dive into, there's this session, and then after the break we come back for the second part of it. We're going to dive in and practice some stuff, or do some stuff, play with stuff, and we're going to do what you want to do. We can either break into small groups, we can do different small sessions, differentiated sessions, whatever. That's what I envision with this. I don't want you to sit and listen to me talk. We're going to practice a lot of these things, but we'll get into that in just a second. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to give me a shout out there, that would be great. The first question I want to ask is, why hack? Why did I choose to call this presentation Hacking a Novel? So when you think of, well, first of all, what does that have lanky chow? What does that mean? Any ideas? Okay, so you have to think kind of like Jason Latimer now. The words are there. We're preconditioned to think that those words put together mean something. In this case, they do not. You have to completely break away from what you think about language to understand what that is. Any ideas? Does that help? Doesn't help at all. Okay. W, H, Y, does that help? Okay. So those Y hacking, no, those are the letters, and so have link each other. There's actually a computer program that you can punch in the sentence you want. It'll give you a bunch of options of different things to do up there. This is hacking, right? It's hacking. So when you think of hacking, you might think of, has anyone seen this movie? Sneakers? Only the older people, perhaps. It's, Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier's in there, Dan Aykroyd's in there, River Phoenix is in there. Pretty good movie, but it's about hacking. These computer people hack, and it's espionage and spying and all that kind of stuff. Have you seen this movie? Okay, now we're getting some. This movie right here, what does Matthew Broderick do? Hacks in, using his computer, hacks into, starts the thermonuclear war, right? Maybe you think of hacking as this guy. Right? Who's this and what did he do? Edward Snowden, he major hacker, right? So hacking has been given a very negative connotation. It's what you do when you want to illegally break into somewhere, okay, usually with computers. Someone hacks into your network and implants spyware or malware, ruins the whole thing, blah, 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 right? So there's that idea. There is a huge movement, and I guess this movement has been there since the beginning. It's just now been given a name, of hacking for good, okay? So this is a quote by Mark Zuckerberg, who is the Facebook, CEO. The word hacker has an unfairly negative connotation. He looks at it as building something quickly, testing the boundaries, and it can be used for good or bad. We can agree with that, right? Any tool that we have in school can be used for good or bad. It can be used by idealistic people who want to have that positive impact on the world. So that's the focus that he looks at happening. Idealistic people want to have a positive impact on the world. How many of you use Facebook? Positive impact on the world or negative impact on the world? Both, right? And that's where you get into that kind of sociological question. You're using it to bully other people or to spread political propaganda, which if you get on Facebook now, it seems like that's all there is. But it can also be used to share pictures of your kids to your parents, right? So grandma and grandpa can see their grandkids, right? That's a positive impact on the world. The hacker way, as Zuckerberg calls it, is continuous improvement and iteration. Continuous improvement and iteration. We're going to use this word a lot today. Do we need to have a definition of iteration? Or thumbs up if we're good? Iteration. Constantly practicing and trying new things. Can always be better. Nothing is ever complete. For example, the website that you have access to, I've got it somewhere on there. It says, I think I'm up to Mark 30. I stole that from Tony Stark with his Iron Man. But anyway, 30 different versions of the website, and I kept having to update it on the Google Doc. I would put the version number so I knew which website I was looking at. Because nothing was ever complete. Even this morning, I woke up early this morning and made 5 or 6 more changes to it for now. The only reason I haven't changed it now is because we're in the middle of it. But I guarantee you I will go back and change it again, just because there's always something better, something new. To fix it, and this is the key right here, in the face of people who say it's impossible, Jason Latimer, right? A lot of things, oh, can't do that, it's impossible. We can't teach these kids impossible. Can't get through to this kid, he's hopeless. They're irresponsible, they have no respect for anybody. We hear that a lot. Or those who are content with the status quo. Doing a worksheet is good enough. I've done this unit for 30 years and it's still good enough. Or maybe I did this worksheet last year and it was great. So therefore,